Alright, so this will be my analysis on Artio. So looking at her skills real quick,
Fight fire
claim
with
territory,
fury.
damage, and imprisonment. Imprisonment meaning that the enemy can't move or auto-attack.
Fight fire
And
with
in her
fury.
bear form, more seconds of imprisonment.
Take victory from
Wild
them.
Roar, she increases all of your heroes' attack power, and in bear form, reduces enemies'
Take
attack power.
victory from them.
Conservation. So this is a pretty good passive. When she's above 50% health, 4% of her missing energy will be restored every second. Not her total energy, missing. So she won't be recovering 40 energy per second as it would if it had said total energy. And then when her health is lower than 50%, 4% of missing health will be restored every second. Bear form increases it to 12% of missing health. That's the key part. Missing, not total. So it's not super overpowered regeneration. And then of course her ultimate, where she turns into a bear, recovers 40% of her max health, and then reduces her damage taken. And of course her other skills get adjusted or buffed, as I just said. She also does a claim territory, the jumping attack into the dense areas for imprisonment right away in bear form. And then if she's already in bear form and triggers her ultimate, she triggers Iron Mane, which increases defense, and it's a form of attack reflection, reflecting back true damage, 5% of the enemy's max health every time she receives damage. So it's just whoever attacks them gets whoever attacks her gets their max health, 5% true damage done to them. But if you have multiple heroes attacking them, that's a lot of damage going back and reflecting back to them. Okay. I don't have any equipment on her, but popularity says that the Aegis Shield and Earth Runes, which you kind of expected. She's a tank, a really good one at that. So Aegis Shield and Earth Runes are expected. I will say this though, if you are using her for a boss, like the Verdian War Dragon or any event boss, of course her main role is going to be in buffing the team's attack power. So you want to do that as often as possible with her. So what I would recommend, instead of the Aegis Shield and Earth Runes, I would put the Yasukana, I can't remember the name, Yasukani, Magatama, and Air Runes, because my guess is that her Wild War skill probably has a long cooldown, so you want to get it down as much as possible so that she can keep cycling that 7-second duration for attacking for increasing the team's attack. Other than that, I think Aegis Shield and Earth Runes make sense.
That was a rush.
Okay, and for her Divinity skills, when you get her to 6 nodes, Embroilment, Pristine, and Toxicity. So I go a bit different from that. If her, she comes off as more of a support utility tank rather than an offensive tank, as you would see with Hades or Thor, but who really uses Thor now anyways? And rather than putting toxicity on her, I would consider gravitational field instead. Because if she can help the back line stay a little bit longer by reducing their damage, her wild roar skill will be more effective. Interesting thing about her is she is one of 2 tanks now who have the spotlight skill, and the other tank who has the spotlight skill is Poseidon, another Verdian tank. So I don't really see myself using spotlight with her unless it's a boss fight, in which, yeah, you don't want the boss to dodge her attacks at all, and it would help if her accuracy is converted to critical damage. So in a boss fight, how I would probably set it up is, out of all of her 1 node skills, I would say embroilment still fits the best PvE and PvP wise. So you want to keep embroilment. For PvP, I would use pristine, because as long as her health is above 75%, she gets defense boost, but it also helps her stay above 50% health so that she can get faster energy regeneration. And then also gravitational field to help the backline heroes. Now, if you were going for a boss, I would switch up to toxicity and spotlight. Those 2 are definitely useful against single target bosses. She has a 3-node skill that I haven't learned yet. It's the energy field. So when an ally hero with the highest combat power is about to die, they're immune and they gain a shield with 30% of her current health for 8 seconds, 1 time per battle. It's too situational. I think pristine fits her better in a PvP situation, because again, the longer she lives, the more she can keep on doing wild roar. That's her important role, is buffing up the team, and then also while she's in bear form and uses claim territory, she will taunt nearby enemies. And when Iron Man is triggered, defense is increased, but also when she gets hit, she reflects back that true damage based on the enemy's percent of max health. So it's really important for her to live and stay alive as long as possible. I even think that she would probably be in a situation similar to Apollo, where she's like the last hero standing, and just fending off attacks and whittling away at the enemies. But I don't think she would do it as well as Apollo. I don't have her. Yeah, I don't have her iconic weapon 2 unlocked yet. However, the tank, I can't remember which color it was. Let me look real quick at another tank. It's whatever. But whatever the color is that increases, I know it's the same for all tank heroes. They have the same color, same effects. Whichever color it is that increases magical resistance, I would aim for 8 nodes in that, because she already receives magical resistance boosts from the Chimera Beast Soul Seals. So adding on top of that makes sense, so that she would become almost, negligible in terms of damage from magic heroes, which is important right now because the current meta has Amaterasu and Morgan, both magical damage heroes.
Take victory from them.
And speaking of the meta, I can see her fitting into it. She won't affect it and change it as much as Morgan has, as we've all seen in the past few months. However, for Artio, I think she would fit in well, adding into that current meta lineup. But if not, for the sake of, say, faction bonuses, my first thought was, well, her and Poseidon are the two Verdian heroes with Spotlight, so why not put them up front?
Take victory
and
from them.
Maybe have a Flora in the back line, because Flora also has Spotlight, and Flora's ultimate does AoE damage when enemy heroes are close together. I'm talking about Artio and Poseidon both have ultimates that force enemy heroes to bunch up together, which would make Flora's ultimate much more better.
That was a rush.
So, I could see a team of almost all Spotlight users, say Artio, Poseidon, Flora, Oberon,
take victory
and
from them.
Like a healer, Nagakanya or Idun, and you would have an entire Spotlight team that would counter a dodge team, say, made of Lucifer, Marduk, and Loki. I know dodge teams aren't as powerful as they used to be now, especially because we have Odin and we have our new meta here, but I do see people still use them as backup teams in Championship Arena. So, just a suggestion, Artio could fit into that sort of counter dodge team. But we'll see where she goes later on down the line. Just give it 2 to 3 more months for other high-end, high-tier, endgame players to fully develop Artio and see how they'll play with her in their teams. So that's all I've got for her analysis so far. I hope I've given some ideas as to what you can do with her in the future. And let me know if you have any suggestions for how she would change the meta or any team formations that she could fit into.
That was a rush.